Hi, women of God. The reason why I'm doing this video, I have noticed certain things. We really deal with the Jezebel spirit in the church, like so badly. Like, we're dealing with it so badly till it's ridiculous, right? How is it us being women of God, when we cover our hair, we want to show a little bit of our hair and make it look attractive? How is it being women of God, we've been taught to be seductive and be like promiscuous, And I'm gonna tell you where that spirit is coming from. It's a Jezebel spirit, it's a spirit of holism, and that's what's in the church right now. So I really ask the women to like calm it down just a little bit because of the fact that you're already beautiful. You don't have to do anything to like actually draw attention to yourself. I don't care how modest you are, how you low key play it down. You're going to draw attention to yourself because of just the fact that you live a good life and you're not doing anything wrong. So men are going to be drawn to you anyway. Off rip. Just like it's nothing you can do to change the fact that you're going to have men of God want to talk to you. You don't have to do anything extra. You don't have to show your legs. You can cover them up. You don't have to show your derriere. You can cover that up too. You don't have to show your breasts. You can cover that up. Cover your whole body. Actually look presentable as a woman of God and stop being lured into a lady's lifestyle. And when I say a lady's lifestyle, a lady is what you find at a gentleman's club. So I'm so sick and tired of them calling the first woman of the church the first lady. She is not a lady. Ladies is what you find at the gentleman's club. Ladies is what you find in hoism. Ladies are not what you find at church. They started coming into the church later on. And that just now reminds me, I've been meaning to tell this story of how I know for a fact that this was not something that we started out with. I was a kid growing up in church, right? Honest to God, this is like a serious experience for me. I'm a kid growing up in church, and I think we were doing like the pastor anniversary or something at the church. I can't remember exactly what it was, and they were honoring the first woman of the church, which is the pastor's wife and the pastor. And so I'm there at this church by the name of Miracle by Faith right now. My cousin, he's a pastor there. He's the minister and head pastor there at that church at this time. And I'm at this church and I'm serving God and, worshiping God, just a little kid though, a little baby, nothing, nothing more than that. And I remember seeing a wave just fly through the church, and they was like actually saying it. This is the first woman. They was doing a little thing or whatever, and then it changed to this is the first lady. And that's when stuff became different for us here in our community, right there in that church. That's my remembrance of the transition from first woman to first lady. That was my actual memory when I started realizing. And nowadays, these guys don't want to change it because I know you don't know what a lady is. I know you don't know what a gentleman is. A gentleman and a lady is a whole that's in hoism. So he's a gentleman. He said, I'll be the perfect gentleman. He's telling you he's going to be the perfect whore for you. He has no intentions of being a real man. He has no intentions of actually doing what he's supposed to do. He's a pagan uh, living man. He lives alternative lifestyles and alternative religions other than spiritual religions that attaches us to the spirit of God. And these things have been in our church and been around us saying, hey, I'm going to be the perfect whore for you. And I want you to be a lady too. I want you to be a whore too. and you're not getting it and you're not grasping the concept. And so every time I actually hear the word lady, I find it so insulting, and I try to hold my tongue, because some of these people don't know. See, because they were taught ladies are classy, ladies are this, and ladies are that. And to be totally honest with you, every time I hear it, I go into disgust, because I know what I am. I'm a woman. Above all things, no, I am not the problem for mankind. I am what God created me to be and stuff. And this, and to be totally honest with you, when we talk about woman, woe unto man, I'm gonna be real with you. We were never man's problem to begin with. But that word also came from something else. But I really don't have the full understanding of that word, because I think I wasn't even, you know, how can I put it? I didn't get that one revealed to me as of yet. Why? I know it has something to do with the fact that they say we were the cause of mankind sinning, and truth be told, that wasn't even the truth. That wasn't even the truth. Adam fell into sin and joined the enemy group, and nobody talks about that. So women weren't the first ones that caused sin. Eve was not the problem in the Garden of Eden, and they know that. But all that never got revealed either. So what I tell you guys is the honest truth from what's being revealed to me spiritually in some of these atmospheres that I'm in some of these arenas that I'm in, that I didn't even know. I'm telling you firsthand experience. Like, it's like for me a shock. It's like, how? What? So they ended up dumbfounded. They want to say that Adam and Eve ended up dumbfounded because they sinned. That's not always the whole truth. Adam and Eve ended up dumbfounded because they was trying to force them to sin and force them into captivity, which they ended up getting them into. And that's how sin actually came about, and that's how they ended up dumbfounded. They forced them into that. They weren't willing participants in sin, and God had to intervene. So sometimes we got people that's in the church that don't even know. You might go into demonic captivity and go into it unwillingly. So we look at our daughters, and I can tell you something. I have seen young girls. I'm dead serious. I have seen young women go into demonic captivity, and I mean, these are powerful young women on fire for God, doing what God wants them to do, and they go into demonic captivity without having a choice. They weren't given a choice on, okay, do you want to serve God or do you want to serve sin? We already know which one they chose. They was in church when this happened, and they're forced into sin. So I tell people all the time, man, y'all need to be really, really, really careful, because of certain stuff want to have authority over these women. They're overthrowing them mentally. They're overthrowing men mentally to get authority, to get power, to get dominion, to get the authority that they have. And it's sad to say it, but that's what's been going on. And nobody wants to talk about it. So again, I'm gonna say to you young women, and I'm gonna say it to the best of my ability, because that's not really the proper way to address you, even as a woman, because you are mankind. And even though you're mankind, they like to say woman, but at the same time, you are the same as a man. Every man that you see in that Bible, your life will one day line up with and match up with as a female. Males, your life also will line up and match up with some of these people that you see in the Bible. So let's change the statistics. How many of you notice that we have more people in the Bible that don't have success stories? Or if they got a success story, man, there's some shady stuff in the mix of it. Think about Tamar with her father in law. Really? Tamar with her father in law? No, don't nobody get that. But Tamar was okay with it, right? She said that she had a right, and he had violated her rights in alignment with whatever agreements that usually go on with them. And she had two children by her father-in-law, who was a man that used to sleep with promiscuous women that were whores. And nobody's talking about it. But he was considered to be a righteous man where he could make judgments over Tamar. But in the end, when he came to make a judgment over Tamar, Tamar hands him his items and say, "Hey, these belong to you." And it was nothing he could say because he was caught up in his sin. See, had he not been caught up in his sin, Tamar would never have gotten away with that. That's another trick of deception, demonic, and devilish behavior. But guess who else was already participating in some of that stuff? You out in another country. You ain't getting it down in Europe, but you getting it somewhere else. Is this the real behavior that we supposed to represent as men of God? And saying, okay, well, this is where the offspring of Jesus is coming from. And this is how things are going to go with Jesus and his people, though. Some questions about some of this stuff that's going on. These are the ancestors of Jesus, extending from the line of Tamar and all this stuff right here. Something's wrong. Something wrong. When we start looking into the Bible and we start seeing how our people keep failing. David, how many wives can you have? You can have as many as you want. Is that really how God intended for us to be as mankind? Well, one man has a million women. Is that really what God, when God sat up there and gave commandments in the first beginning? Man should not sleep with mankind. Man should not be committing sexual immorality, which is committing adultery. Man should not be committing adultery. But yet and still, all this is showing up in the Bible. And we still don't identify the demonic attacks that are taking place to keep our people hindered, to keep our people in these lifestyles of whorism. And it has become so overwhelming, because even when you find out what it is, you still got people sitting up there, you like, oh, they still calling you lady. What's up, lady? How you doing? When they calling you lady, oh, hey, madam. Baby, I'm not your madam. I am not finna sell your body, my body, or nobody else's on. I am not a madam. I don't run no whole houses. You might want to go find you another madam that run the whole house. But they say madam means ma'am. But we know most of the madams that we know about being whole houses. So it scares me a little bit because I can't understand what this really is. So, like I said, you guys be careful. We got so many Jezebel spirits said it doesn't even make sense. When you put your head covering on and you put your religious head covering on, do not try to show your hair. Do not try to show certain stuff and try to look cute and stuff like that. Just wear your head covering. If you're not enough, you know, just accept the fact that you ain't enough and just move on. But I don't believe that is the case. I believe that when you put your head covering on, don't have stuff in your face trying to look cute and stuff like that. Oh, I got my head covering on, but I'm looking cute. I'm showing my hair. I'm showing this. I'm showing that. No, that's not what the head covering is for. The head covering for is to sit up here and basically take away from how beautiful you are and force a person to see you for the person that you really are. That's the whole purpose of you wearing the head covering. To take away from how beautiful you really are, your long, pretty hair, your beautiful face, how attractive you really are, and to say, okay, this is me at the lowest form of me, and this is how I am. Do you see me, or do you see my beauty more than you see me? And don't try to, make yourself too attractive to men. Another thing, a lot of what I have noticed because of these lady spirits and gentlemen spirits and stuff like that, because they're telling y'all ladies and gentlemen, they're not telling y'all that they see that as they're saying to you that that you are a whore or you're in a whore lifestyle. They don't know how insulting that is. Every time that a person says that to me, I get so angry, but I don't know how to sit up here. And I'll probably every once in a while say to them, okay, I'm not a lady, I'm a woman. And I try not to say it so much because it angers me so much when they call me a lady. It angers me. But that's their polite way of calling you a whore. That's the polite way that they call you a hoe. So just know what you're dealing with and just be mindful of some of the people, the characteristics that go on around you and stuff like that. Be careful of some of the spirits that, dwell around you and stuff like that. These men telling you they're a perfect gentleman. Be careful. They telling you what they is. He say he's gonna be a perfect hoe for you. He's gonna be the perfect one for you. He's gonna give you money and everything. He's gonna be the perfect gigolo, the script you of everything. So know what you're dealing with. Or a woman coming to you say, man, I'm the perfect lady. And you thinking, oh well, man, this is the perfect woman for me, man. This girl love me and stuff like that. No, she's telling you what she is. She's coming to take everything from you. Be careful, people of God. Roll with God. Ladies was not in the church. We don't have no first ladies. Stop prostituting our women in the church, calling them out of their name and disrespecting them in a way that they cannot identify the disrespect. Stop disrespecting them and honor them right there in the church house. Honor them because trust me that when that transition happened with me as a child and I seen them change the word woman to lady in the church, that transition in that church for me was detrimental because they started hoism in the churches. So they started raping women right there in the churches. Right after they switched from woman to lady, they started raping the women of the church in the house of God. And they ain't gonna talk about that, but I know about it. So be mindful and stop calling women ladies because we tired of hearing it. Yo, ladies is in the gentleman's club. Go find them and stop playing with us out here on this hoism. And honest to be, truth be told, I don't really feel like there were ever a lady to begin with. Cause I don't feel like women, most women and most men aren't really into holism like that. So I really don't feel like this is fair to anybody. I just feel like they lied on all of us. But I give it to Jesus. God will deal with it after a while. But truth be told, when they calling you a lady, they calling you a gentleman, y'all be mindful. They disrespecting you and you don't even know it. And it's so flamboyantly said and it's traditional for them to say and make stuff tradition for you that you cannot somewhat square away from tradition to actually see the truth. God have to reveal to you how their tradition of calling you certain things like my dear. Hey dear, you don't know what they saying to you. You're here for me to pray on, dear. You're here for me to pray on. A deer is a sacrifice to them. When you in a room full of predators and you put a deer in that room or a child in that room or a sheep or a lamb in that room, anything that goes in that room can become a sacrifice when you amongst a whole bunch of predators. So you better know what you're doing. Stay prayed up, stay with God. Stop trying to look attractive because that sexy look that y'all always trying to get that lures men, it's gonna cost you your life. Trust me. And they don't care how they take it. It's gonna cost us at some point. And they don't care what they do to take your life from you. And they're flamboyant. Like they'll come in your face and you'll think that they're talking good about you. But really, to be totally honest, the whole time in front of your face, they've been talking down on you and you can't even distinguish between them talking down on you. So know what you're dealing with. God bless you. Stay good. Stay with God. Stay in his favor. Remember, you're not a lady. You are a woman of God called in God's purpose. Don't let them change that. Men, you're not a gentleman. You are a man of God, called in God's purpose. Don't let them change that. That goes for our young people too. Whether you're a boy or a girl, you are a girl or a boy of God. and you are called in accordance to his purpose. Don't let them change you. Y'all stay blessed.